Okay, so now moving on to the last part in lesson 5.5, how to complete the table. So as you can see here, we have a table for pages and minutes. In 18 minutes, he reads 9 pages. Okay, so we want to know in 1 minute how many pages he reads, in 10 minutes, and in 15 minutes how many pages he reads. So you have two ways. So the first way, just like the way I showed you in the study pack, is to think, find two numbers in the table that are related together. It could be the two numbers are vertical. You could have a vertical relation and you could have a horizontal relation. The numbers could be related like that, or they could be related like that. Okay? For this table, we will take the vertical relation. It makes sense. So all you have to think is 9 times what number will give you 18? So that will be times 2. That means the pattern that you will apply for every single box in the table, you're going to multiply it with 2. Times 2. Same here, times 2. And finally here, times 2. So now all you have to think is, what number multiplied with 2 will give you 1? What number multiplied with 2 will give you 10? What number multiplied with 2 will give you 15? So this way works for the questions that I gave you in the study pack, for the tables I gave you on that one. Okay, but for this table, it's kind of hard to get the number because as you can see, the numbers are getting smaller. So that means that we are dealing here with decimals. So yeah. So we have a second way. For this one, we will use the other way, which is to find the unit rate. Okay, so we will find the unit rate. So I know he reads 9 pages in 18 minutes. I want to know per 1 minute how many pages he reads. So all you have to do is to find the unit rate, we will divide. So 9 divided by 18, that will be half. So now we know that in 1 minute he reads half a page, and that totally makes sense. Okay, so after we find the unit rate, we will apply it on the rest of the parts of the table. So how we are going to apply it? You will multiply with the unit rate. So step number 1, for this case only, you're going to find the unit rate, and then you're going to multiply each number with the unit rate in order to get the number of the pages. So think, what's 10 times half? Okay, think, what's 10 times half? What's 15 times half? Okay, you guys, now if you don't know how to multiply decimals or whatsoever, think what's half of 10. So it's the same as what's half of 10. Half of 10 will be 5. And what's half of 15? Half of 15 will be 7.5. So for this question, you guys, you can do it mentally. Okay, so this is how you complete the table, how you complete a rate table. Okay, so this is all for the lesson, understand rates and unit rates. Let's now move on to the third lesson, which is about finding percent of a number. Okay, you guys, first of all, we need to know what's a percent. A percent, as you can see here, it's a ratio or a fraction that compares any number to 100. So your denominator in the percent should always be what? 100. Okay, if we give you a number, for example, 7 out of 100, we ask you to change it to a percent. How are you going to do this? The answer will simply be 7 out of 100, since the denominator is already ready. So we will write it as 7%. We use this symbol for percent. Okay? If I tell you 25 over 100, how will you write it as a percent? We say 25%. So all you have to do is check the denominator, whether it was 100 or not. If it's 100, you can just simply take the numerator and put the percent symbol next to it. Okay, but sometimes, you guys, we have cases like Okay, sometimes we have cases like 2 out of 10. My denominator is 10. So how am I going to change it into 100? In order to write it as a percent, I have to have the denominator to be 100. So think 10 times what equal 100? That will be 10 times 10. So you will have to multiply 2 also with 10. So 2 times 10, that will be 20. So that means our percent is 20%. That's it. Okay? What did I use here? I use equivalent ratios. I thought of something, of a number that when I multiply will give me 100. Okay, so for example, also sometimes we have 1/4. How many percent is that? So think what number if you multiply with will give you 100. So we all know that 4 times 25 and 1 times 25. So that means our percent will be 25%. Why? Because 4 times 25 equals 100. Okay? And the same goes for the other numbers as well. What if you had 1/50? How you're going to write this as a percent? So again, you'll have to think of a number. 50 times what equal 100? That will be 50 times 2. So you'll need to multiply times 2. So 1 times 2, that's 2. So that means it's going to be, the percent will be 2%. Okay? So these are the cases how just to write percent. Okay? How to write a fraction out of 100 as a percent. Okay. Now let's move on to the core of this lesson, which is to find the part and the percent from a given percent, from a given whole, a given part, or whatsoever. It depends on the question. So in order, you guys, to find the part, the missing part or the missing percent, all you have to do is use the formula part over a whole equal percent out of 100. Okay, but before you use the formula, you should be aware of some important notes. First of all, the number that comes after the word of, the number that usually comes after the word of, we call it the whole. And the number that comes after the word is, we call it the part. And the percent, it's very clear. Why? Because it has the percent sign next to it. Okay? Always remember, the whole comes after the word of. The part comes after the word is. And now, let's do our math. Here we have a question, what is 35% of 10? You will have questions like this one. We will not tell you whether you need to find the part or you need to find the percent. We will not specify. The question will exactly look like this one. So all you have to do is put the formula that's right there below. So now I'm going to decide which number is the part and which number is the whole. So as you can see, I have 35%. That means 35 should be written on this side. Okay, so we're going to write it as 35 out of 100. Why? Because I just told you how to change the fraction into a percent, and this is how you change the percent into a fraction out of 100 to help us solving the question. Now, on the other side, I need to tell which number, what does 10 mean? Does 10 represent my part or my whole? So since 10 comes after the word of, 10 will be my whole. So 10 will go down. And as you can see here, what's missing? We don't know what's the part. So the part, we will substitute it with x. Okay, we will replace it with the variable x because we don't know its value. Now, you guys, we created a proportion, and how we are going to solve this proportion, we will use the butterfly strategy, which is you multiply the opposite numbers and you divide with the one left behind. Okay, so that means x will be equal to 10 times 35 divided by 100. Let's multiply. 10 times 35, that will be, the basic fact is 1 times 35, 35, and the 0 we just copy paste it. Divide with the 100. Okay, do you guys remember when you used to divide with hundreds? You can do it just like you studied in grade 4 and 5. Place the decimal point, and when you guys divide with 100, you move the point to the left 2 steps. Why? Because you have 2 zeros. Okay, so your final answer will be 3.5. That's it. Okay, no need to do long division. Just use the skills that you guys learned about how to divide with powers of 10, like 10, 100, 1,000, and so on. Okay, now for this question, let's do it. As you can see here, we will apply again the same formula. I will put 2 fractions, 2 ratios, or 2 fractions, call it whatever you want. And let's start. They're asking you what percent. So that means the percent is X. We don't know the percent. X out of 100. Remember, the 100 stays because the percent is out of 100. Okay? So in the percent side, I'm going to put X because I don't know what's the percent. As you can see, even in the question, there is no, the percent symbol is missing. Now, you need to tell which number is the part, which number is the whole. So the part will be 33. Why 33? Because it comes after the word is. And the whole will be 75 because it comes after the word of. And usually, dear students, by using common sense, the part is always smaller than the whole. Okay? The part is always smaller than the whole. And now you will have to solve this proportion. You will multiply the corners, the opposite numbers, and then divide with the one left behind. So that means X equals, okay, 33 times 100 divided by 75. In this question, you guys have to do a long division. Okay, so 33 times 100, that will be, you just multiply 33 times 1, so it's going to be 3,300. And divided by 75, if you guys, after you guys do a long division, it will be the final answer, 44%. Okay, you have to put at the end the percent symbol because they are asking you about the percent. Okay, so this is how you find the part, and this is how you find the percent. Okay, we're going to do a word problem related to the lesson. So now here we have 180 cars in a parking lot. As you can see, the colors of the cars are represented in the circle graph, how many blue cars you have and how many red cars are there. So as you can see, we are given the percentage. They gave us the percentage of the blue cars, but do I know how many blue cars are there? I want to know the number. I don't want to know the percentage of them. I want to know how many cars are exactly blue. Okay, I need the number of the cars. So all you have to do, again, we are going to apply the formula, which is part over the whole equals percent out of 100. So let's set 2 fractions together. Let's go. Okay, I know now the part. I don't know the part. I don't know how many blue cars I have. So I will put X. Now I know the whole. The whole is given to me in the question. I know that I have in total how many cars? I have 180 cars. Okay, those 100, from those 180 cars, what's the percentage of the blue cars? I know the percentage is 45%. So I will write it 45 as a fraction out of 100. And then now we are done. All you have to do the butterfly to solve it. So let's do it. And divide with the one left behind. So that means X equals 180 times 45 divided by 100. Okay, you guys, the final answer will be, if you multiply, again, be smart when you multiply. The zero, you can just copy paste it in the answer. Just multiply 18 times 45, and the answer will be 810. And then you copy paste the zero, so it's gonna be 8,100. And then you will divide by 100. Okay, you guys, in division, you guys know if you have zeros on top and zeros down, they actually cancel each other. For each zero on top in the numerator, it flies away with a zero from the denominator. So this one here flies away with it. So this is how you guys simplify. You don't need to do long division or move the point to the left. Just cancel the zeros, and what's left? 81. So we know that 45% blue cards represents 81.